Hi, everybody. This is Bobby Aragon, and I am so excited to have Katie Jolles, principal recruiter from HireFit, with us today. Katie has over 20 years experience working in the HR industry. Katie, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really happy to be here, Bobby. I'm excited about our topic today.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be talking about this with you today because it is extremely important. So, the topic that we are talking about today definitely helps all job seekers, right? And so, the topic is,
Yeah.
what are the five biggest mistakes when applying to a job? So, all right, so let's just jump right into it. So, number one, people are not using their resume as their portfolio. So, tell me a little bit about this.
So, it's really easy if you have a creative profession, you're a UI developer, graphic artist, you're always accumulating and adding to your portfolio. When you apply for a job, you're going to present that portfolio so they can see your work. Unfortunately, if you're a recruiter, as an example, or in IT, or you're doing work that by nature is confidential and proprietary, you don't get to do a portfolio. So your resume must become your portfolio. It's the way you tell your story. So you can't just list all of your employment opportunities and just say, hey, I worked for XYZ company and I was the chief of staff. And as the chief of staff, I did HR and accounting. That's not enough. We need a portfolio. We need you to tell us what applications and tools you've used, how you've used them, how you've been successful. So instead of, you could say, I was the chief of staff, I was over recruiting, I increased the number of quality employees being brought in by 20% by using Bamboo HR or ISOMs or whatever it was. But you have to tell your story. You have to explain what applications and tools and skills you have, and then how you've used those applications and tools and skills to be successful, and quantify the results. Data is king.
Mhm. And I think that's very interesting and important because I feel like when most people create their resumes, and let's face it, we're not all wordsmiths, right? And even though everyone has to have a resume, not everyone's great at even creating a resume or even knows how to do it. So that is one thing that we talk about in our career advancement program with HireFit is how to actually create and optimize your resume because, like you said, a lot of people just don't really show the value that they've added in their resume. They might look at their previous job description and be like, okay, what did the job description ask me to do? And so I'm just going to put that in my resume. But and that might be fine for a second, but when you're trying to sell yourself, you need to show the value that you've created. So yeah, no, that's really good, Katie. Um, Number two, you have resume is not being targeted to the job.
So one of the things we see is people come up with a standard resume, all-purpose resume, and then they go on LinkedIn and they look for jobs in the area that they want to work, and they just go click, 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 click. They pull out all the easy to apply first. They can put that resume on LinkedIn and they never look at it again. They just click through and apply for all of those jobs. Here's the problem. The problem is that any recruiter looking at your resume can tell you didn't take that few extra minutes to target your resume to the job. You should be reading the job description, going back and matching your resume to that job description. And that's one of the things I think is so critical that we help people with our career advancement program is to take a job description, a job posting, and take their resume and show them how easy they can match that resume to that job. And then you need to track it. So somewhere you save that job posting with your resume together. So when you get an interview, you know what you said. But again, all of these are tools that we train you on in our career advancement program.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point there, Katie. And one of the things that we've seen, especially if anyone's looked at LinkedIn over the past, few months to the past year, there are so many job seekers out there. It seems like every other post is I've applied to 300 positions and got 10 interviews or whatever it might be, right? There's so many people looking for positions, but how many people are actually taking the time to tailor their resume to the job? And to your point, it does take some time, but usually, and I'll give people kind of a little tip here. When you look at a job description, that those first like few bullets, those first two bullets, those are the most important things that they're looking for. Everything else is just like kind of
Yes.
fill in. And so take those two bullets and like if in your resume, if you have, 4 or 5 line items of what you've accomplished, and let's say your fifth item is actually the first line item that
Yeah.
company is looking at, flip it, right? Make that stand out because Katie, let me ask you, how long do you truly look at a resume? Like, how long does it take you to figure out whether this person's good or not?
So the interesting thing is, and I think I'm like every recruiter, I pull up that resume, I scan it quickly. I'm looking for a reason to read deeper. If I don't see what I'm looking for, to your point, I know what the must-haves are. Those are those top 3 to 5 things in the job posting. I'm scanning quickly to see those. If I don't see those, that resume is going away. And the sad thing is that person might be the most qualified person, but they didn't tell me they were the most qualified person. And when I see a posting on LinkedIn that says in the last 2 weeks I've applied for 300 jobs, I know they're not customizing each resume to that job application because nobody could do 300
Yeah,
in 2 weeks. And you have to remember, yep, it takes time, but when you're looking for a job, that is your job. And you should put all your effort in and do it well every single day.
love it. And I think that goes right into the third biggest mistake that we're seeing and that is not clearly understanding the job.
It's always so interesting to me when I get a resume and I'm looking at it and saying, "You didn't read my job posting." That you might be able to do what's on my job posting, but this resume in no way tells me you're qualified for that job. Perfect example. The other day, we have a job posting out for a front end developer, and I get a resume, and it's a math teacher. It's clear to me he was going quickly through LinkedIn and he just clicked on the wrong job. He didn't read it. If he did, he would have known his mistakes. He just clicked easy apply and boom, there he is. And he has nothing to do with my job. So sometimes it's not as obvious as that, but you have to I always tell people read the job posting out loud. You're going to catch more if you do. And that's just one of the tricks and tips that we give you in our career advancement program is how to go through that job description, that job posting, and really cull out the most important elements so that we can make sure your resume hits on every one of those and makes the recruiter want to know more.
And one of the things I think people get frustrated about is you looked at like a LinkedIn job and you see that there's 700 applicants, right? Or however many. I mean, they give you that number. I'm not sure why they even tell you that number.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's to
It's just
discourage you or
depressing.
what. I mean, but I actually had a conversation with a hiring manager the other day, and he was telling me he's like, I'm getting so many applicants, but none of them are qualified. Like none of
Yeah,
them are exactly what I'm looking for, and so they have to go through piles and piles and piles of unqualified candidates to hopefully find the right candidate. And so,
right.
I mean, this is really good because I think it's helping people kind of stand out. Right, that's the whole idea: is how do
Exactly.
you stand out as a candidate, try and avoid these mistakes. So, number four, not utilizing LinkedIn connections.
I was thinking about this the other day. When you look at the downturn in economy, you look at all the layoffs, you look at all the people out there looking for jobs, and I thought I would go check because I was wondering why don't people use their connections at LinkedIn more often? So I thought I would go through my LinkedIn messages and notifications to just see if anybody had contacted me and said, "Hey, I saw this job opening. I saw you're connected. Can you help me or something?" And you know what? In the last 6 months, two people, only two people, and I'm a recruiter. only two people have gotten a hold of me and said, "Hey, I've applied for a position at this company. I noticed that you are a connection with their COO. Could you help get me an introduction, or could you tell me what they're looking, whatever?" But you're the whole point of LinkedIn, it was designed to develop all these trees of connections, right? It's pointless to be on LinkedIn if you don't use the trees of connections. And I think, I think it's a skill. I don't think people think about it. But again, that's something in our career advancement program we want to take you through. We want to show you how to utilize those connections. If you look at stats, the majority of people who are successful in getting a new job know somebody internally. So you've got to reach out to those connections so you can know somebody internally.
Yeah, exactly. And most companies are looking at hiring those people that you might know, that someone at the company
Right,
may already know, and it doesn't have to be on an intimate
right,
relationship. I mean, it could just be, hey, I've been connected with this person for a few months, and
right.
they keep reaching out to me. They seem very passionate about what we're doing. Let's give them a shot. And really, the whole idea is being able to move to the front of the line, right? And you'll never move to the
Absolutely.
front of the line unless you ask, unless you
Yep.
showing that you're passionate about moving to the front of the line. Like how, and like to your point, how you mentioned that only two people reached out to you. I am so surprised that most people don't reach out to the recruiters. I mean, recruiters love to talk,
Yes.
right? And we love to build our connections. So reach out to the recruiter and just have a quick conversation, and they'll give you the time of day. They'll give you
Yes.
something. And so asking for a connection, sending a message not only to the recruiters, but like send a message and connect to those people that are in your same field, right? So if you are a customer service rep, right, reach out to the customer service manager, reach out to other
Exactly.
customer service reps and get some insight, find out exactly how they go about hiring, the type of people that they hire, to figure out whether you are a good fit, whether you want to work there. There's so much undercover work, so much detective work that you can
Yes.
prior to even applying to the job and being lost in that shuffle of 700 applicants. And then you can figure out how you get to the front of the line. So,
Exactly.
and last, the biggest mistake when applying for a job is people not having their LinkedIn optimized.
Right. So the first thing to look at with LinkedIn, and I can't stress how important this is enough, the profile on your LinkedIn must match your resume. I have hiring managers all the time come back to me and say, their resume is nothing like their profile. Which one did they lie about? Well, probably wasn't an intentional um, lie or obfuscation on your part, but what it really was you were in a hurry to do your resume because those just go out, but you wanted to take your time with your LinkedIn profile, and that's correct. There's nothing wrong with that. But if the next step isn't optimizing your LinkedIn profile, then most of the work that you did on it was for nothing. And so that's one of the things that we teach you in our career advancement program is how to optimize that profile, how to make sure that yours is grabbed right away in a search by a recruiter, or and sometimes it's the hiring manager who's out there doing the search on LinkedIn because they're frustrated with the recruiter, so they're going to go do it on their own. Whoever it is, you want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is optimized so that it's grabbed. It's the first ones that are coming up when people are sourcing and searching for new candidates. It's not obvious how to do it. It's not clear always, but with with a little time, we can show you how to do that, and it makes the world of difference in how you come up to a recruiter or hiring manager searching on LinkedIn.
And I think one of the things also, Katie, is it's really great on LinkedIn how you can show that you're open to work, right? Because
Right.
a lot of recruiters will use that filter of, hey, let's find the people who sort of are that low hanging fruit that are more likely to respond to a message or more likely to take a look at our company. But it is also very frustrating when you do look at a LinkedIn profile and there's really nothing on there. They might have where
Yes.
they work, but there's nothing even on there, and it's almost like, what's the point of having this this social resume with nothing
Yep.
even on it? And so, taking that time to put on there, and making it like to your point, matching your resume, do that, use all those keywords, like make
Yeah.
it stand out, show your value. And when you do that, the likelihood of a recruiter reaching out to you, or even, especially if you're linking back to your LinkedIn on your resume, making that stand out, making it show like that you put in the time, put in the work, and are proud of your professional accomplishments, will absolutely help you stand out. So,
Absolutely.
perfect.
Another thing to make sure that you include always in your profile is that you complete the section on skills. Particularly if you're a tech guy, I want to know your tech stack. I want to know all of the tools, languages, and applications that you're proficient in. But even if you're applying for an admin assistant, I want you to tell me that you're an expert level in Office, that you're advanced Excel, that you can do pivot tables, that you can do word searches or whatever. I want you to show those skills because a lot of times I'm searching on those skills.
Perfect. Now, really great information, Katie. This has been fantastic. I think all of these, tips, understanding the biggest mistakes that people are making when applying for jobs, being able to utilize this information to really help them stand out, will get some people hired. So I
Yeah, I
definitely
hope so.
appreciate it. Exactly. Katie, tell the people where everyone can find you these days.
You can look me up on LinkedIn, Katie Jolles, Jolles, or please come and follow us at HireFit.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks, Katie. I definitely appreciate your time, and we'll chat soon.
Great. Thanks, Fabi.